I want to say thanks so much to all of you for being on this call tonight. This is our team call. We have them every other Monday, and different topics, different speakers, and, based on this whole powerful industry and products and the business of RX. And so I know there's a lot of guests with us this evening as well because of our particular speaker, and I'm going to introduce her in just a moment. But first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Lynn Allen Johnson. I'm a leader with this company, and I'm passionate about the topic we're going to talk about tonight, and that is our weight loss product, our homeopathic weight loss product. I have battled weight for as many years as I can remember, and I'm not very young, so that's a long, long time. And, I was a beta tester for these products, started back the end of January, and I have lost 40 pounds as a result of Slenderiix. It is the most amazing product. It's like nothing that I have ever used, and I have done everything. Every diet, counted points, got shots in my stomach, did the 500-calorie, the HCG. I've done the Jenny Craig's. I've done, the high fats and the low fats, and I've done Nutrisystems that came to my house. And I can't even tell you. You guys could probably name 6 that I missed, but I've done them. I'm positive. And always I struggled. And even if I lost just a little bit of weight, it always came back. It never, ever took the minute I got off my program or my diet. It was over and the weight came back. And so I am so excited to share Slenderiix with all of you. And we have on the call tonight our very special guest, who is Dr. Marlisa Hurt. She is a holistic rehabilitative nutritionist with a PhD, and she's going to speak to us about Slenderiix. I have some very specific questions that I want to ask of her, things that have been asked a lot over the last few months, and I'm sure many of you have heard it and would like the answer to those questions as well. So I am going to bring on Dr. Marlisa Hurt. And first of all, Marlisa, are you here? I want to make sure you're on the call.
Yes, I am. I'm here.
And that's so awesome. And I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And to start out, Marlisa, if you could tell everybody what kind of a doctor you are. People ask me, what is your, what do you study? What have you done? And I thought, I know you're titled, but I'd love for the people on the call to know a little bit about the type of a doctor you are, where your passion comes from, and, that leads us into the call tonight. So can you take it from there?
Sure. I have received a PhD in anti-aging medicine, and it's kind of funny that you would ask me that because just yesterday I was talking with some people, and they said, oh, does that mean you specialize in Botox? And I had to laugh really hard because I said, no, I kind of work more from the inside out rather than the outside coming in. So anti-aging medicine really is all about doing everything within our power, within the food, our lifestyle management, the quality of the environment that surrounds us, all the things that we can control. In the last 10 years, this field has really, really changed, and we've come to understand that our genes are almost like you would say they're plastic. For decades we've always blamed our parents for everything that was wrong with us today. Oh, I inherited this or that. And you may have inherited habits from your parents, but your genes are actually able to be expressed, and the genes that control whether or not you will be sick or fat are totally controlled by the environment that you continue to put yourself in every day. So if you don't like what you see when you wake up and look in the mirror, you need to choose to wake up tomorrow and do something different. And that's basically, in a nutshell, what the concept of anti-aging medicine is about. It's understanding the study of the things in the environment and how they contaminate our bodies and cause poison that would block channels, that would shut down healthy pathways that create disease. And then as well, the opposite side of that is what do we put into our bodies in order to regenerate the cells, to fuel the body at the cellular level, to create the opportunity for detox, for the lymphatic flushing. So from a naturopathic or a holistic standpoint, we believe that there's only two root causes. We are either toxic from too much of something bad in our bodies that doesn't belong, that makes us sick, or we're sick because we don't have enough of the good things that we need to fuel our bodies for them to be able to be potentiated to their highest capacity of functioning. So that's what anti-aging medicine is all about. And I also have a dual certification in integrative medicine and clinical therapeutic nutrition. So those are integrative medicine is when you cross over between traditional medicine, the research there, and you try to bridge the gap between the holistic therapies that would be, herbal things and homeopathic medicines, and you use both sides. We, in integrative medicine, we would still use blood testing. We would still use x-rays. If you have a broken leg, you go to the hospital and you have a cast put on. So we don't, some people think that if you're into a holistic type of medicine that you completely, close the door to traditional methods. And integrative medicine is really about having one foot in both worlds and using the best of all modalities and bringing them together. And then, of course, clinical therapeutic nutrition is basically, what I touched on earlier, is understanding the very best sources of fuel for the body and understanding how to use those for a therapeutic function to improve performance, to improve, whether you're a professional athlete or you're somebody who's suffering from what they call typical age-related memory problems. We shouldn't have typical age-related. It might be normal in our society, but it is not natural. And if you're having age-related memory problems, your brain is hungry, and we need to learn how to feed it with something better.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Hurt. That was absolutely fantastic. You had me at anti-aging because I know that that excites me. Before we get into the weight loss product, one of the things that you just mentioned is detoxing. And I know that RX has an incredible detox product, and I'm wondering if you can just take a minute and tell us a little bit about why it's so important, number one. And number two, do you recommend taking that in the morning or in the evening, or is there a specific reason you would do it at any particular time? Because that's something that I get asked a lot.
Oh, excellent questions, and I am so passionate about Restoriix. Restoriix is our detox product, and one of the reasons why detoxing is so incredibly important is because all of the air, the water, the food that we eat, even the organic food does have traces of pesticide residues and fertilizers in it just because it shares the underground water supply with farms down the street that are using chemicals. So, we can do everything we can to try to reduce the load of these chemicals that are coming into our bodies. And we know that since 1970, there's been over 70,000 chemicals that add to our food supply. And so we live in a time where our kidney and our liver and our lungs are so overburdened, and they are having to filter out so much stuff on a daily basis that the oxidative stress is so great from having all of these foreign toxins in our bodies. And those organs have to work really, really hard just to keep up with the fuel that we're putting in, even when we're trying to eat healthy because of all the contamination. So getting plenty of antioxidants as well as having some type of detox component as part of your life. And detoxing is really, very multifaceted. It involves making sure that the water that you're hydrating your body with every day is the cleanest water that you can possibly get. I've shared with some people before my personal struggle with having our water supply contaminated while I was pregnant with our third child, and the developmental delays that she suffered because of that, as well as I lost my speech and was diagnosed with brain damage 10 years ago. And that was really, the equipping of feeling like, we went from doctor to doctor trying to find somebody that would help my daughter and I. We actually were told repeatedly that there was nothing that anyone could do for us because we were so toxic they didn't know how to get all of those chemicals that we'd gotten in our water from our fertilizer getting into our water. There was nothing that they really knew how to get it out. And we were really blessed after being at the consulting with the National Institute of Health and the Center for Disease Control and all up and down the East Coast with several different specialists, we were really blessed to find a pediatrician who specialized in helping autistic children detox from metal poisoning. So although we had a different route of the metal getting into our bodies, she was able to help us understand through nutrition and was really the stepping stone for me starting to walk towards getting a PhD, because at that point I already had a background in nutrition. But I felt like if, my daughter and I were going to be able to get well, that I really needed to take up studying this. And so that's why I have such a passion. I just felt like, I was gifted with this precious little life, and I wasn't going to give up on her. And so that was the beginning of turning over every rock and figuring out if there wasn't a drug, if there wasn't a pill that we could take to get better, I was going to do everything that I could to make sure that everything that went into our bodies was not only purifying but nourishing as well. And so because of that difficult path, I feel so blessed that, looking back now that, God allowed that to happen to us, and he really paved the way for me to be able to come and be a part of RX and helping to develop the ingredients that went into our Restoriix formula was just such a mountaintop experience for me, because it really validated all the painful times that had come ahead of that had equipped me to be ready to contribute. So some of the things that are in there, they're all superfood ingredients. We have our zeolite clay, which is it's actually a mineral base. And this stuff is the best quality. It actually has a medical device patent in Europe. I mean, we have found, thanks to Deanna Latson, our chief product officer, she has scours the earth for the best of the best ingredients, and that zeolite is absolutely amazing. And it has a honeycomb-like structure to it. It is paired with organic spirulina, chlorella, and a shot of pure chlorophyll, with chia seeds that have a high dose of omega-3s and protein as well as fiber. And all of those things work together and act basically like a liquid sponge. When you just add a very small scoop, it's just under a teaspoon, to a glass of water and stir it up, you drink that down first thing in the morning on an empty stomach is typically what I recommend. I actually have different ways that I recommend using it for different purposes, but on a daily basis, first thing in the morning, especially if you're on a weight loss program, it's so important to have detoxing as one of your tools in setting yourself up for success, because all those toxins in your body, the body has been created to heal itself. And if we just don't mess it up with too much junk, it will fix itself. And detoxing is such a powerful strategy. And the reason that I love this is because there are absolutely no downsides to it. It's all nourishing foods that purify as they go through the natural digestive process. So when you're losing weight, you're burning up your fat stores. And fat stores are often created even when you're not eating too many calories. If you're getting too many toxins coming in and you're just eating celery and spinach and carrots, but they're laden with pesticides, and your body has to manufacture a place to put those toxins because it can't use them as fuel. It just clogs up the organs. So your body will actually manufacture fat stores for a place to stuff those toxins and hide them. It's called the triage theory of medicine, when the body banishes those things to get them away from the core organs that would otherwise shut down the metabolism of our core organs. So the opposite of that is when you start burning up those fat stores, all those toxins now have become homeless, and they start wandering around the body again trying to find a place to live if you're dehydrated. So, and we know that, naturally those toxins would be looking for a fatty place to live. And since the brain is 70% fat, oftentimes when people go on a low-calorie diet and they just start starving themselves to try to lose weight and get smaller, they actually get sick. They get really grumpy and irritable, and they have terrible breath and body odor because they're not detoxing. And they get really grumpy, and everyone around them is like, please, go back on the potato chips. You're just too terrible to be around, and you don't feel well. So detoxing is really, really important so that you have this liquid sponge going down to soak up those toxins as they're released from your fat stores. This helps to prevent weight loss plateaus. And it also helps to continue to alkalize your bloodstream and really give a second wind to your eliminative organs. When those green superfoods go through there, there is nothing more purifying on the planet than green foods. The chlorophyll, the things that we look at leaves, and we see the green leaves and how they manufacture and harvest energy from the sun, and it gets stored inside those green plants. There is nothing on the earth that is more purifying to your body than green food. And we have this in a very convenient, dried powder so that it can be taken with you anywhere when you travel or on the go. And it is preserved at a low temperature without any chemicals or preservative agents. The way that it is harvested and dried, it makes sure that it is retaining all of its essential nutrients and the full alkalinity potential. So a lot of us have too much acid in our bodies, which also produces fat storage and stress hormones. So bringing back the acid-alkaline balance in the body is another. It's actually the very first step in holistic medicine. It's the very first step towards the healing process, just opening the door for the healing process to even begin. So the blend of those green foods in there along with the zeolite mineral, it's really is this one-step wonder to throw that down. And again, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach is the best time, because all night long your body has been working really hard. Your lymph system has been just sucking all of the bad stuff out of your fat stores and your muscles and all the fluids around your cells. Every hour, billions of cells expire and need to be renewed. So those old cells need to be carried away by the lymph system. It's powered by the fluid, having plenty of fluid in your body, and it's pumped through your body by the movement of your body. So getting enough exercise, walking, trampoline, rebounding, I love that, swimming, anything that you do to move your body, it's pumping the lymph fluid throughout, getting good circulation, and it's allowing all of those dead cells and toxins to be shuttled to the digestive tract. So once they get to the surface of the digestive tract, then they have to have an escort out. And for years we've heard all about fiber and how wonderful fiber is, and we should eat more fiber. And lots of diet shakes out there are filled with fiber from powdered trees, which really gives a lot of people a lot of gastrointestinal discomfort. And it doesn't offer any nutrition at all. I mean, you really could just be eating a pile of sawdust mixed with your flavored water and chemicals, and we're not about that at all. We're not just trying to stuff you full so you don't feel full. The point of the programs that we're creating is truly to create long-term health, and that requires nourishing foods that are therapeutically designed to create nutrient-dense food stores. So the timing of taking the Restoriix typically would be first thing in the morning on the empty stomach, because that's when all of those toxins have been pushed to the surface. And first thing in the morning when you wake up, you notice everybody has bad breath in the morning, and that's because your tongue is the very beginning of the surface of your digestive tract. So you always want to brush your teeth and tongue first thing before you swallow anything to drink, because you don't want to be reabsorbing anything that your body has just worked so hard to get onto the surface of your tongue. So you want to brush your teeth and tongue and then take your Restoriix. And that will help to have the most powerful detoxing action on the unwanted substances that have been accumulated in the past, all of the things the body's been working to get to the surface that you've accumulated in the past. Now, if you're new to detoxing, if you've never done a detox in your life, or if you've done detoxing before, but you're on prescription medications or birth control pills, or you know that you have a lot of toxins in your life, such as especially things that you would breathe in. You know, if you know that you're addicted to Aquanut hairspray, for example, you've breathed in quite a bit of stuff in your lungs. When you breathe things in through your lungs, there's no filter. You know, when you drink a glass of water that has contaminants in it, it goes down in through your body and it gets filtered in your kidneys, and that acts like a strainer to get a lot of the bad stuff out. Well, when you breathe things in through your lungs, or you breathe things in, you know, even through your nose, sometimes they don't even get to your lungs. There's a thin membrane at the top of the back of your throat, and I'm specifically thinking of when you get like a flu mist vaccine. A lot of people don't understand, you know, when you get something injected into your bloodstream or when you eat it, you have other when you eat it and ingest it and drink it, you have filtration, natural filtration as part of your digestive tract. When you breathe things in or any type of medication that's injected, it goes directly into your bloodstream. It does not pass through any type of filtration. And those things are especially damaging to the brain tissue. And again, fat tissue, fat very densely stored in the brain, has a huge affinity for any type of toxins. So it's really important when we talk about anti-aging. Our brain is the most important asset we have to protect. So we want to make sure that we're doing as much as we can to be proactive. So if you're new to detoxing or you take any type of injectable medications or inhaled medications or any type of prescription medication, you need to consider doing a 90-day detox where you take a serving of Restoriix 3 times a day. So I recommend, first of all, making sure that my patients have adequate amount of water for their size frame. And then to that water, we have 1 serving, 1 scoop of Restoriix first thing in the morning, 1 mid-morning in between meals, and 1 mid-afternoon in between meals. And many people who've started doing this have noticed just by getting started on the detox, even before they get started on the Slenderiix, that they notice that a lot of their symptoms are getting better. They can really tell a difference in their energy level, especially my performance athletes, that it really helps to bind up the acid that comes from working out really hard, the lactic acid that's released from strenuous exercise that causes the muscle pain and fatigue a couple days later. If you take the Restoriix with your workout or even a couple times after your workout, if you do any type of detoxing massage, they always tell you to drink plenty of fluids because they've been able to break up a lot of those toxins that have been stored in the tissues, and you should drink plenty of fluids to make sure they get out of the body. Well, even better, I spoke with a massage therapist today, even better to make sure that you've got some Restoriix in that water. Getting plenty of water is really important, but therapeutic water that is charged with these ionic mineral particles that act like a magnet to draw all those things to itself and carry it out, and then the benefit of the alkalinity from the super green foods, there's really nothing better than that for hydration. So that's wow. Detoxing is really passionate, one of my big passions. So.
Thank you so much, Marlisa. So many people, they talk about weight loss, and we get all fired up about the Slenderiix and Accelerate, and and what you just said, everybody on this call I know needed to hear that, how important it is and the role that it plays. And, I started doing Restoriix as soon as you told me how important it is and the role that it plays in weight loss and in our health. And for me, and I just have to share this, and then I have some great questions that I'm excited to ask you about the weight loss itself. But for me, taking the Restoriix, when you say add it in a little water and just chug it down, it didn't work in my palate because I didn't like it. So to me, but to me it tasted kind of like dirt. And other people say, oh, it's great, but to me it wasn't. And so mixing it with a little organic lemon juice and a little Valencia orange stevia and some nice cold water and putting it together and shaking it up in my little glass bottle. It tastes like lemonade. I absolutely look forward to taking it. It's wonderful. And, I could take it 3 times a day easy once I knew how to do it. So I just wanted to share that for the people who may be struggling a little bit with the taste of it. So that being said, I want to lead us into the Slenderiix and Accelerate, because I know that you have spent a lot of years in research and in doing, weight loss clinics and trials and studies, and I know you've done some things with HCG as well. And so many people are asking, why is this different than HCG? Is it the same as HCG? So please, can you tell us why this is different than anything on the market and why it is not HCG, in your words, so that we have the answer for this and know how to answer others when they're telling us that they believe that this is a version of that.
Oh, okay. This is interesting to me because, Wow. Okay. So how it is not HCG? Well, I guess we have to understand what HCG is to really be able to answer that question well. And when you first asked me that, I'm thinking, okay, well, why is orange juice not milk? Because it comes from an orange and milk comes from a cow. So similarly, HCG comes from the HCG stands for human chorionic gonadotropin. Gonadotropin it has to do with either the male or the female reproductive organs, and it is the hormones that are secreted by either the male or female reproductive organs. So when we talk about human chorionic gonadotropin, that medicine has been harvested from human urine, specifically from the urine of pregnant women. And it is collected and sterilized and reduced into a pellet form. And then it is diluted with sterile water and taken as an injection. Now, this actually is a very old method of anti-aging medicine that originated hundreds of years ago in China. And the royalty were served by Chinese medicine doctors that would actually administer. Wow, there really isn't a politically correct way to explain this process. I'm not sure you really wanted all these details, but
well, just why it's different. Why this is not HCG? I guess we could make it simpler.
Yeah. Okay. So one, our product is made from plants. It's not made from human urine. And the human urine program is extremely sensitive. It's extremely limited in the foods. It was studied for over 50 years. I personally monitored hundreds of people that went through that program. And because it was initially rooted in Chinese medicine, and I thought it sounded like a good idea until I'd seen hundreds of people go through the program. And it is not an anti-aging strategy at all. I had tons of people that ended up in the emergency room, lots of people who lost all of their hair. Most of the people by 3 weeks were losing their sex drive. Their skin tone was terrible. It was not an anti-aging tonic. Now, I think the reason why people get them confused is because we talk about the ability to get rid of the abnormal fat stores, and that's pretty much the only language that I can see that's similar at all about the two programs.
I think, Marlisa, let me just interrupt for just a second. I think what it is that people are saying that there's, HCG natural drops all over the market, and that there's tons of things that are like this, and they don't realize that this is proprietary. And I guess that's what I'm asking.
Okay. Well, ours are made from
different?
Homeopathic herbs, and they are not there is a homeopathic HCG that is out there. And the understanding what homeopathy is, I guess, is really going to be a turning point here, because homeopathy is when you take something, picture it like you have a tea bag. Most people know how to make tea. You take the bag, you stick it in water, you steep it there. The essence of that goes into the water. It flavors the water. Its antioxidants properties, any medicinal value from those plants, it goes into that water. Homeopathy is created in a very similar way, and it can be created either using plant or animal tissues. Ours are based on herbal homeopathic remedies that are over 100 years old. And the combination of the different homeopathic remedies, all plant-based ones that we've used, have come together to make our patented exclusive formula. So there isn't another company out there that has what we have. And the homeopathic HCG is a diluted form of the human urine-derived HCG, the human chorionic gonadotropin. So the sourcing of the ingredients, they're completely different ingredients. So they might sound similar, but they're not. They're as different as orange juice and milk. One comes from plants, one comes from animals, and they're not the same at all. So moving on to what it does for the body. The program that we have that goes with this, we have a 1,250 calorie program. You would never, ever be able to lose pound number 1 on an HCG protocol with that. I had people that did the 500 calorie diet. They weighed their food. They measured it. They ate everything exactly the same, but if they ate one almond or if they tasted the soup that they were making for their family for dinner, it would completely break their chemistry, and it would take 3 days to be able to get back to where they were. I mean, they would gain a pound or 2 or 3 from that one, and I'm not kidding, one almond. So it's not like a calorie is a calorie. It's the special type of chemistry that only makes that work, where you can only eat 500 calories of certain foods. It's extremely limited, very, very difficult for people to follow, and the people that don't follow it exactly to the T, which there's a large percentage of them that don't because it's so limiting, they have extremely bad side effects, and they don't have that body resculpting that the ads promise. If you have one thing different, you end up looking like you've been in a concentration camp and you're starving, and then your hair starts falling out and you have really bad side effects. So the reason why this is different is because we have 2.5 times more calories. We have a wide variety of proteins, vegetables, and fruits, as well as healthy fats. And the healthy fats are so important for rebalancing your hormone system. And that includes the raw avocados, sprouted walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds. You can also have those nuts or seeds or their cold-pressed oils to make a salad dressing with. These things are really foundational for being able to create health and detox, because every single cell in the whole body has an outer membrane that's made of fat. So the quality of fat that's coming into your diet, it literally, you are what you eat. And specific fats have a different molecular structure that allows them to transport oxygen molecules within the body. And we know that specifically something like cancer cannot grow. Cancer cells cannot multiply if there's oxygen present, and they cannot thrive unless there is sugar present. So we know in homeopathic medicine and in naturopathic and clinical and integrative medicine, we know that if you cut off the sugar supply and you flood the body with oxygen by putting in these special fats, the cancer cells will just die on their own. So this isn't really an anti-cancer weight loss program, but the foods that we have in here are extremely therapeutic, and they're put in here for a specific reason to cause excellent function within the body that's going to cause health. So the opposite of that would be a French fry fat. When you have fast food fat or soybean oil or canola oil, you cannot substitute the fats that are on the healthy fat list for any of these other oils, no matter how many billboards in America will tell you that those are good fats or they don't have trans fats in them, or we think olive oil is the end-all be-all of healthy fats. It's not on the list. Don't eat that or you won't have good results, because the special fats that we're using are the ones that transport oxygen molecules 2 at a time. And they not only create long-term health, but they also speed up your metabolism, and it speeds up the cell turnover within the body, because anything that causes your body to be flooded with oxygen is going to speed up your metabolism. So most people that have a low metabolism are dehydrated, and they have low cellular energy and a lack of oxygen at the deep tissue areas. So we can change all of those things in 24 hours by just changing the fuel that's going into your body. And the foods that are specifically here working together with the homeopathic herbal preparations that are a patented combination, these things are really rooted in being adaptogenic herbs or anti-stress herbs. And the combination of the blend of homeopathic herbs in the Slenderiix, and then the natural B12 that's in the Accelerate, along with an extra booster dose of the adaptogens ashwagandha and rhodiola rosea, and the B vitamin biotin. It really helps to strengthen hair and nail growth. All of these things work together to really fortify the hormone system, to allow balance to come back, so that you end up not only shrinking your body, but you end up with healthier hair and nails and skin, and glowing with health. And really, the thing that is so exciting to me, and as far as from an anti-aging medicine perspective, is that we know that people who store fat around their waistline, that is a physical symptom of a much bigger problem that's going on inside their body. That specific type of fat is called visceral fat, and it is the deadly fat that poisons your body. when you start accumulating fat abnormally around the waist, we've understood in the last 5 years that it turns into another endocrine organ, and your endocrine system is anything that has to do with anywhere that hormones are made. So all of your male or female reproductive organs, as well as the organs like the thyroid and the adrenal glands, things that contribute to your metabolism as well. When you have extra fat around your middle, it becomes another additional accessory endocrine organ, but it is not one that works to your favor. Once you start accumulating fat there, it secretes and generates more toxic hormones and creates additional stress in the body, as well as just, it's almost like it just flips your switch all the way over to where you are now in permanent fat storage mode. So this is why when people go on these reduced calorie diets where they just say, oh, you know what, I just need to eat less and exercise more or count up my points or whatever, when your switch has been flipped so far because you've got this, you've become upside down with your hormones that are being generated, you have to have something that is going to strong arm your ship to be steered back in the right direction. You can't just eat less because that's going to generate cortisol, more stress hormones that are really going to create a more deeply seated problem. Initially, you might be able to lose. Most people that go on just calorie deprivation plans that are not based in quality nutrition and that don't have the anti-stress benefits of the Slenderiix and the Accelerate formulas, they initially might be able to lose between 10 and 15 pounds. But then their starvation mechanism kicks in and they plateau for a long time and they bottom out and they get headaches and they go back into fat storage mode. And people get extremely frustrated and they keep trying or they start exercising even more and they just create this vicious cycle of bottoming out and plateauing. And it's extremely frustrating. It's really, really damaging to the emotions and the psyche. It makes people feel like they're huge failures. And it's just because they don't understand the stress syndrome that has been set up in their bodies from these from the calorie deprivation. So we want to have a moderate amount of calories. So 1,250 calories is considered the threshold for a low-calorie diet. If you eat less than that, you're not going to be able to get enough nutrients to really fuel your organs for optimal production and metabolism. So that's really, really key, is that when I look at people's body shapes and I can say, okay, I can see that they're on permanent fat storage, and then I look at their blood work and I can see, okay, this one's going to either go towards cancer and this one's going to go towards heart disease. When you have that type of fat storage that's generating those hormones, it's going to create our number 1 and 2 causes of death in America are heart disease as well as cancer. So we know that they're truly preventable diseases because they're both rooted in this type of obesity. So truly, to me, this is a life-saving program. It allows people to turn back the clock and to have a detour from going down the highway and being one of the average statistics. And that's because when we put in this powerful nutrition and we rebalance our chemistry using these homeopathic preparations, it changes the way that your body responds to the food that you eat. And it allows you to have, to be free from the cravings that were addictions that are part of the whole processed food. The last time we had a team call and we talked quite a bit about glutamates and how they upset the hypothalamus pituitary axis, and that this is the root of the stress handling syndrome that puts us over the edge and puts us into permanent fat storage mode. So even if you are exercising more and eating less, you are not losing weight. It's because this HPA axis has been disturbed, and you need to do something big to be able to turn it back the way that it was before. And this is really your key to being able to get there. So the visceral fat, or the fat around the waistline, this is the fat that suffocates the organs, choking them out of their fullest potential to work at their highest metabolism. So when we're able to look at the bodies of the people that have done this program, and we see that they don't look like they've been starving in a concentration camp, that they have the exact same body shape, but they're just smaller, which is typically what I see when people go on these weight loss club plans or food delivery things where they're just limiting their calories and they're not doing anything else. Or you read the box and you see what's in the box, and it's 10 out of the 15 ingredients are some form of sugar or starch, and the rest are flavoring agents and chemicals. It's just making your body more toxic. It's clogging up your liver and your kidneys even more, and it's just keeping your blood sugar imbalanced with all that extra sugar, and it doesn't have enough protein. It doesn't have the healthy fats in there that really nourishes and regenerates your cells and creates health. So when you see those types of things happening, you know that you might be able to initially get your body a little bit smaller, but you are just stepping on the gas and driving full speed ahead towards being an average statistic and one of those two, leading causes of death. So in order to turn that around, we need to learn how to create the healthy lifestyle patterns of eating real food along with the homeopathic herbs. It's like the 911 that we need. It's very difficult for people to give up eating convenience foods because of the chemicals that they're laced with and how those affect the brain chemistry and create food addictions and chemical addictions to diet sodas and regular sodas. They are food addictions. And basically the homeopathic products, it's like creating a bridge that gets you to the other side. It gets you to where you want to go. I hear people all the time that tell me they want to be eating this way or they wish they could, but they've tried it and they just don't have the willpower. And I think that's the thing that's so exciting is this is, we've all heard the saying, build a bridge and get over it. Well, it's easier said than done unless you have tried this product. And a lot of, going back to my original mention of every problem that we have is either a deficiency or a toxicity. And when you have an addictive craving, that's a sign that your body is severely deficient in nutrients. Your brain isn't telling you the wrong thing. Your brain is telling that you need something, but you don't have the right things in front of you, and you're reaching for the wrong things when you're going after the Diet Coke and the Doritos and things like that. This, when you have the willpower and you're ready for something to change your life, this is going to be like pressing the easy button for you because it soothes the brain chemistry with the anti-stress properties of these preparations. It nourishes the brain tissue with the natural methyl forms of the B vitamins and those adaptogenic herbs. And then we always recommend having the optimals and the omega-3s from the Biomega to be able to help create balanced sources of healthy fats, and that fast forwards you. I use quite a bit of the Omega Q in order to get faster results with the weight loss. I use at least 6 in the morning and 6 at night, which is quite a bit of Omega Q, but most people have been eating all of the wrong fats, and it's all about having the right amount of balance and to be able to correct that ratio where we've been eating too many canola oil, too much soybean oil, and things like that. We need to be able to correct that imbalance by initially adding a lot more of the omega-3s to really ignite that fat-burning process. So that's basically, to me, the big difference between the two programs.
I have a question for you, another question and a couple of comments. I'm listening to what you're saying, Marlisa, and first off, the detoxing thing is the key. I now know why the HCG is different, than what it is that we're doing. I think because this is liquid and comes in little bottles, everybody thinks it's the same homeopathic HCG that's out there. They're not quite understanding that. And I think the other thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the other thing that I just heard you say answers the last question I was going to ask you, and that is, how this fits into your life, all right? You don't have to deprive yourself. You don't have to do 500 calories. It fits into your life, and what it does is it takes away the cravings because between the optimals and detoxing with the Restoriix, and taking the Slenderiix and Accelerate, it takes away the cravings. And so for me, that was the key because it changed totally my relationship with food where I wasn't looking for the Doritos and the things that I used to look for. So, when somebody says to me, well, Lynn, if you just ate 1,250 calories, you'd lose weight anyway if you limited your calories. But that's not the case, because I've been on 1,250 calorie diets a lot of times, and I may lose a pound or two, but it didn't change one thing inside of me is about how I ate. I always felt deprived. I always felt like I was on a diet. And the minute I went back to undepriving myself of the 1,250, I gained the weight back and then extra. And so
wow.
I love the way you just explained why this works. And I don't want us to run too far over, and I know we could probably all listen to you for hours and hours and hours, but I do have a question about the Restoriix, and I think I know the answer, but actually I have two questions about that, because that's a powerful part of the weight loss program is to be able to detox. So one of the questions I have is for people who struggle in the morning, they're in a hurry, they get up, they have to go to work, taking it an hour before you eat or an hour before medication, sometimes is a challenge. So is it okay to take it at night? That's question number one. And question number two, or comment number two, is people have said to me that sometimes when they take Restoriix, it makes them break out, right? And, with acne. And to me, I've had that happen a little bit as well. And for me, in my brain, I thought, okay, I'm detoxing and it's got to go somewhere. So it's coming out through the skin, and I saw that as a pretty good thing. But I'm not sure if that's the right answer, but that's what I thought. So could you just address those two with the Restoriix? And then we'll close our call, because I really want everybody to get it, how important that product is to our overall health and well-being and to our weight loss with Slenderiix and Accelerate.
Sure. Yes, you can take Restoriix at any time of day or night. In fact, I recommend for people, I have got some really faithful, I call them my wellness warriors. Those have been with me for years and years and who have been practicing wellness lifestyle for a long time. And, another way that I like to use Restoriix is, we all get invited to weddings or, anniversaries or some kind of special birthday, and we can't eat the ideal choices that we would prefer to eat if we were home and preparing our own foods. And one of the great things that I like to talk about with Restoriix is using it as conscious compensation. And so if I'm going to be someplace and I want to be a gracious guest, I don't want to be turning my nose up at everything that they're serving. And so if I'm at, a dinner party, and I will go and look for the vegetable tray, and I'm not going to ask anyone if they're organic or not. I'm just going to be grateful that there's something alive in the house, and I'm going to eat that. And if there is, if there's a piece of fish to be found, I will try to eat that. But if there is nothing there, and I'm starving, and I've worked all day, and I know my blood sugar's low, and I need to eat something, I will eat something that is not the best choice. And I call this looking out for the best of the worst. And I always make sure that I have a bottle of the Restoriix with me in my purse so that I can discreetly take a scoop of that and throw it in a water bottle and take some of the Restoriix before I would enter the party. And then I would take it again, after I'm done eating before I go home, or, I would take it before and after any type of less than perfect food choices. And that way, when it goes down with the food, it attracts those pesticide, fertilizer, chemical residues. It acts like a sponge to any of the bad fats, and it absorbs them and carries them out of your body rather than you absorbing them and your kidney and your liver and everything having to be overburdened by breaking those things down and storing them somehow. So that's one way that you can blunt the effect of less than ideal choices, whether it's a road trip or a wedding or whatever, is to use the Restoriix as conscious compensation. So that being said, if you are, making wise choices and buying organic vegetables and free-range meats and wild fish, you're spending a lot more on your grocery budget, and you want those nutrients to get inside your cells. So you want to take the Restoriix away from those types of foods because you don't want to soak up those types of fats. Those fats are the ones that are going to rebuild and nourish. And so, when you're having a really excellent meal, you want to use the Restoriix to be able to compensate for the past accumulated things that your body is trying to excrete. And so that way you want to take it as far away from a healthy meal, because that way it's going to have that bare skin contact on the inside of your digestive tract, and as that as your colon loops around and crosses around the liver, it's going to be sucking things out of there as the Restoriix goes through your body just through the natural digestive process, and that's what's going to help to regenerate and cleanse most powerfully. So taking it at night isn't going to hurt anything, but I think you really, and actually some days if I've had a really stressful day or if I've had a more intensive workout and I'm feeling a little bit sore, I will take it right before bed. But generally, I recently, where I was at a friend's house and had my first piece of bread that I've had in 10 years and had my Restoriix with that. But typically I will not have Restoriix, close to food. I try to keep it farther away from the food. And if I do it at night, it's more so to compensate for being sore after a strenuous workout or something like that. And taking it first thing in the morning is best. I know people have medications often that they take first thing in the morning. And so, if getting out the door is difficult, I would definitely, consult with your doctor about if there's a different time of day that you could take your medicine. A lot of times medicines that are taken first thing in the morning, it's fine to take those things at bedtime as well. If that's not an option for you, then just go ahead and stay on your regular medicine schedule. And then, you can always put the scoop of Restoriix into a water bottle and take that with you and drink it in the car on your way. Just make sure that you have,
lemon
at
juice.
least. Yes, for the gourmet detoxers like you, Lynn, make sure that you have lemon juice. I actually love it plain, but I do like it in 16 ounces of water, which is 2 cups of water. And to me, it barely has a flavor at all if you put it in that much water. But
okay,
to each
one more
their own.
question. Can you answer the question about the breaking out? And then we're going to close our call. I just want to make sure we address that because I have had that from a couple of people.
Yes, your skin is one of your largest organs of detox. It covers, the entire body, and so it is arguably the biggest organ of detox. And when you're not hydrated enough, when your lymph system, I talked a little bit earlier about how it's so important to move our bodies because that pumps the internal fluids from where the cells are, from the very tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. All those fluids have to get all the way up into your abdominal cavity to be able to come in through the digestive tract to be able to get filtered out. And if you're not getting enough fluid and if you're not getting enough exercise and you have those toxins that are being drawn but they're just sitting inside your lymph system is like Jell-O. Jell-O's not free-flowing and cleaning you out to making your system purified. What happens is you're more like marinating in your dead cells. And when it is not moving out your digestive tract fast enough, it's going to start coming out through your skin because that is a very large organ of detox. So if you find that you add Restoriix and you're breaking out, it's because your colon is not clean. And you need to make sure that you're drinking more water. You may be low on magnesium, so make sure that you're getting your optimals because there is 300 milligrams of magnesium in there, and that's very, very important for just normal timing of normal bowel habits. You need to be drinking plenty of water, so making sure that you're on the optimals, as well as you can also take an Epsom salt bath at night. That helps to flush the pores of the skin, and you also pull magnesium in through your skin that way. It also makes people kind of sleepy if you take it in such a large dose like you'd be doing in the tub. You really pull in a lot through your skin, but that helps to flush the pores all over your body. But it's not, say if you're only breaking out on your face and you're soaking, from the neck down, you're still going to have the cleansing effect because the magnesium goes in through every single pore and it acts like it's like flushing the toilet of your lymph system. It comes in, it flushes out the lymphatic system, and it diverts all that fluid. Extra vitamin C is also terrific for helping with that, and the Vanali is an excellent source of vitamin C, and the grapeseed extract, it really helps to speed up the detox process as well. So anytime anyone has any type of stagnant lymph fluid symptoms, such as clogged pores, that means that your body is trying to detox things, but they're just not getting moved out fast enough, and the body's going, I don't want to redeposit these things, so how can we get them out faster? If they're not going to go out through the digestive tract, how do we get rid of them? Oh, we'll push them right out through the skin. And so if you notice that happening, that needs to be your clue that you need to drink more water, move your body more, make sure that you're getting your optimals twice a day, and I would add some extra grapeseed extract along with that, and also do magnesium soak. And I typically use about 4 cups of Epsom salts, and I don't get the flavored or colored ones because all of that is more synthetic chemicals that nobody needs, just the absolute plain ones, and put it in your bath water and soak for a good 45 minutes to make sure that you really pull that magnesium in. It'll relax your muscles, flush the lymphatic fluids, and it'll really help you to get a deeper level of sleep, and you'll detox even better while you're asleep.
Wow. Marlisa, I just want to say thank you so much for this. I am getting so many texts from people saying, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I learned so much. And I just want you to know how much we appreciate you and you taking your time to be here for our team and share all of this information that I know we're absorbing. Every time I hear you speak, I learn more. I'm so passionate about these products and the Restoriix and learning what that does. And even though I've customized mine to be absolutely wonderful, I still take it and the Slenderiix and Accelerate, and just incredible. I'm just so blessed, as we all are, to be a part of RX and to be taking these amazing products. And you're such a large part of that. And I want to thank you so much for this call tonight. And I know I'm speaking for everybody here. It was amazing, educational, life-changing for so many of us, and I just want you to know how much we appreciate you. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for joining us on the call. I know you found it time well spent. I know you took a lot of notes, and we're all going to be have better health, get rid of that unwanted weight, detox our bodies, and move one step closer to the wellness warriors that are inside of us. So thank you, everybody. God bless you. Thanks for being here, and thank you so much again, Dr. Marlisa Hurt. It was wonderful. Take care. Good night.